Welcome to the period 2 final inter-debate for spring 2024. On the pro, first speaker Sophia. Con, second speaker Aryan. Pro, stand on up. Make sure you're loud.
Maldonado affirms, resolved, all secondary schools in the United States should require all students to wear school uniforms during school. My sole contention is gang violence. Subpoint A, school uniforms decrease gang violence. Brookshire, PhD in education, wrote in 16. The style of clothing popular among children today arose from the clothing of inner city gangs. Uniforms support reduction of gang violence in schools, and Long Beach Unified School District has become known for being the first large urban school district to require school uniforms for all students. Since 1994, when the mandatory uniform policies were adopted in the school district, school crime decreased by 36%, sex offenses by 74%, physical fights between students by 51%, weapon offenses by 50%, school suspensions by 32%, and vandalism by 18%. Subpoint B, gang violence is most important because safety has a bigger impact on your life. If you're dead, you won't be able to do anything at all. Questions?
Councilman Random.
Yeah.
This is specifically Long Beach.
Mhm.
Isn't that just cherry picking?
Well, we can also take that from Long Beach Unified School. It could also be passed out to other school districts near them, and then it could be spread out. The policy could be spread out. Yeah.
How can you conclude that like schools are the same? Because different environments could change the factors of how gang violence is affecting schools. So how can you conclude that?
Well, if Long Beach Unified School is like let's say other different schools, like regular, there's not much gang violence around, then it could also be like leveled out equally between the other different schools. Yeah, nice.
How do you know that uniforms decreased all these incidents and not just something else?
Because when law enforcement sees that there are outsiders or people not wearing school uniforms, then they can identify them and send them.
Okay, stand on up. 3, 2, 1, begin.
Aryan Kumar negates, resolved, all secondary schools in the United States should require all students to wear school uniforms at school. My sole contention is individuality. Subpoint A, school uniforms decrease individuality. Adams, student at Rowan University, wrote in 07. Nathan Joseph formulated an analysis of clothing. He argues that uniforms act as suppressors of student individuality by making the student uniform appearance and taking away the student freedom of expression, and feel that the mandatory uniforms serve the function of maintaining social control within the school environment. They suggest that school uniforms are meant to convey the institutional values of the school. The school uniforms are enforced so the students will adhere to the goals of the school. Subpoint B, individuality is most important because it perpetuates innovation, fosters self-expression, promotes diversity, and ultimately leads to a more progressive and whole society. Yeah, go ahead.
Where exactly does it say that school uniforms decrease individuality?
In the card, it highlights that Nathan Joseph essentially did an analysis of clothing, and he found that school uniforms led to suppressing of student individuality. Yeah, go ahead.
Can we trust your author?
We can trust our author. We can trust this author because they attended a university, and one can argue that due to this, they probably have some experience with school uniforms. Emma?
How is individuality that affects personal life compared to
Well, I feel like individuality is very prevalent in adolescents, especially because in terms of like clothing, they just it's on the individual scale. It affects adolescents very frequently.
Stand on up.
Answers to uniforms decrease individuality. No links. School uniforms have no effect on student individuality. Nash et al. Doctoral student, the University of Memphis, wrote in 09. The students give the policy their own personal meanings. For example, an opportunity to showcase how they want to express themselves and decide based on these meanings how they would express themselves individually. Students in this urban district continue to express themselves individually through dress in spite of the uniform policy. Gang violence is more important than individuality because someone wouldn't be able to express their individuality if they were dead or in danger. And my card is better than his card because My author has it more recent, and he wrote it in 2009, while his card was written in 2007. Yes.
Why is gang violence more important than individuality, since gang violence is a very rare occurrence?
Yes, but that still has like a great impact on your life, and if you're dead or if you're affected, it will still take time for you to be able to recover and be able to fully show yourself and express yourself as a person.
You said that the people in that district still express themselves through clothing. How?
Because they get to wear different accessories, like whatever they want to wear, and they would still be able to show it even while wearing school uniforms, like bags and jackets, and necklaces and headwear.
What if the school uniform policy says no to all that?
Well, I'm pretty sure the school uniform policy only requires clothing, so it wouldn't count on different accessories as well.
Isn't that just speculation?
That's the policy for most schools in the United States, and that's the law for the school uniforms. Sorry.
Wouldn't trauma from gang violence prevent you to express your
How can we take gang violence as seriously as individuality, even though gang violence only happens in certain lower class neighborhoods where individuality can affect anyone?
Like I said a while ago, gang violence still has an effect, or like a really big impact, because it also has an effect on your life and your safety. And if you're not safe, then how will you be able to carry it out?
Okay, stand on up. 3, 2, 1, begin.
Answers to uniforms increase safety. Link to school uniforms decrease safety. Johnson, student at East Carolina University, wrote in 2010, violence in public schools has sharply increased over the past 10 years. North Carolina has seen a 25% increase in the number of crime and violence incidents since 2003 to 2004, even though the numbers of North Carolina high schools requiring school uniforms have surged during the same time period. The researcher concluded the need to investigate how the adoption of mandatory school uniform policies by North Carolina high schools in the 2004 to 2005 to 2008 to 2009 school year. 2. Individuality outweighs safety because it defines personal identity, fosters creativity and innovation, and promotes diversity in society, which itself directly impacts the safety and physical, not to mention emotional well-being of a person. My card outweighs theirs because it has a warrant. And a warrant is better than data because it explains why the data and other things in their constructive prove the claim to begin with. And furthermore, without a clear warrant, an argument lacks coherence and persuasive force, as the connection between the data and the argument isn't very apparent. Yes.
You said they were looking at the North Carolina schools, right? Isn't that cherry picking?
Well, it's not exactly cherry picking, I would say, because North Carolina, first of all, is in the United States, and I feel like North Carolina is a sizable population of the United States, and since it isn't just one school, I think it can go to show the trend that you can find in a lot of other schools and high schools in the United States. Yeah, go
How
ahead.
do we know that North Carolina isn't just increasingly violent? How do we know this isn't a correlation without causation or cherry picking?
Well, we know this isn't correlation without causation because the author highlights in the card that during the same time period, these schools adopted school uniforms, which, I mean, correlates to this increase. Yeah, go ahead.
How can we trust your author when he is a student?
So again, he's a student at this university, and I would say due to this, he probably, one can argue he probably has some experience in the realm of uniforms, and that might be what prompted him to write that card like this, do all of this research to begin with. Yeah.
So adding on to what you said earlier, what if the uniforms were added in response to a rise in crime and didn't work?
Well, the author doesn't explicitly. So they didn't actually. Violence didn't actually happen before the years highlighted in the card.
Okay, that is time.
I win the debate because safety has a bigger impact on life. They say school uniforms decrease safety, but extend Brookshire 16. The style of clothing popular among children today arose from gangs, and that school crime decreased by 36% after school uniform implementation. They say individuality is more important, but how do you express yourself without knowing that you're safe or if you're in danger. Extend, my rebuttal is more recent, and recency matters because how would we, like, the trends changed through the years, and it would be very significant. Flip the page. Extend Nash et al. Wrote in 09 that school uniforms have no link on student individuality. Students gave their own twist to how they wanted to express themselves even while wearing school uniforms, and they could still express their individuality despite school uniforms. And my card is better because it's also more recent and it is a doctoral student who has experience.
Okay. I want to debate because I have data. I have a warrant. Extend Adams 07. Due to research on school uniforms, some scholars argue uniforms have suppressed and decreased student individuality and expression through forced conformity in dress. And proponents suggest uniforms convey school values and promote goals like academic successes, while critics view as a means of institutional social control over students. They say trends have changed, but that doesn't necessarily transpire over such a short time frame, such as like 20 years. They say gang violence is gang violence is more important than individuality, but extend Adams. School uniforms have led to a decrease in individuality. They provide data, but because a warrant establishes logical reasoning that connects data to the overall claim that's being made. They say school uniforms increase safety. Flip the page. Extend Johnson 2010. Violence in public schools in North Carolina increased by over 25% between the school years 2003 to 2004, on par with new school uniform policies. And
Okay, everyone vote, everyone vote, everyone vote.
You can go.